BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy hoy, welcome. It's episode 447 of BRB UK. I am Dan, I am one of your hosts. Hi. Also with me is Coleman. Say hello, Coleman.
Hi.
And the other one who's lurking in the corner is none other than Timothy Hibbs Esquire. How are you doing, sir?
Very well. How is your good self, sir?
I got blessed by the god of Argos.
The god of Argos.
The god of Argos. I think Argos is an actual...
Isn't that a Bill Bailey sketch?
Isn't Argos a god?
The laminated book of dreams.
Argos Panoptes is a many-eyed giant in Greek mythology.
Argos of war.
Well, no, hey, look, I am... Jesus, he did a lot of stuff, Argos. He's not just an electronics and tittle-tattle.
The god of
merchant.
Stockrooms.
Yeah, he is.
And small blue pens.
God of number.
The god of number systems.
Actually,
Yeah,
sorry,
exactly.
I was forgetting. It's old school, isn't it? He's the god of catalogues, of course. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. He's all-seeing.
Tiny blue
Power
pens.
and order of Argos. He's Lord of the herd and Lord of the land. And he said, Gibbo, thou shalt be able to buy an Xbox Series X. And I went, thank you, Argos. I shall go and give you 449 of my Great British pounds. And then I shall try and not get stabbed in the car park in Slough. Very well, you minion. I shall increase the challenge level by making them refuse to give you a plastic bag to run across the car park.
Did you have to go in there locally and get it then?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
That's always a real worry when you've got to... Because I had this before. I had to go to like a neighbouring town to pick up the Rock Band set, and that was like a 250 quid box of goodness that I was bringing home, and they didn't have any bags big enough to put it in, so I'm just walking home with this huge box. But in your case, that's got to be worse because it's a console that no one can buy and a lot of people want, and is worth a lot of, and everyone knows it's worth a lot of money, and you're just walking down the road with it.
Little bit. And there's a B&Q right next to it, so people can probably fashion themselves some kind of pointy stick if they so wanted. But anyway, so I managed to get it unscathed. I'm alive.
Good.
Yeah, really. You know what? You two were on about you're on about something correct with these series consoles. They are. Yeah. Wow, very impressed. Quick resume is some kind of witchcraft.
Yeah.
It's mad. It's just like, all right, okay, fine. I'll just turn you on. I was playing 3 completely different games, but you'll just carry on where I left off with this other one.
Yeah, see, you won't have got the one surprise I've had with that is, I haven't played this game for months. It still loads instantly. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's, obviously I've been a bit spoilt by being able to play games on the PC, and a lot of people are going to go, oh, Dan, why didn't you get a PS5? Frankly, there's nothing on the PlayStation platform at the moment that really makes me want to go, yes, I want to get invested in a whole other new ecosystem. The fact of the matter is that I think Game Pass offers a really good deal if you are gaming on Xbox and PC. There's enough extra stuff on the Xbox, including all the back compatibility stuff that I've already got from Xbox One and 360. I just thought, I think I'm probably going to get more value out of that. And there is something nice because I do so much, kind of my work, we all know work and play's been kind of blurred together a bit. It's nice playing games on a device that all it can do is play games.
Yeah.
Yes. And there is the fact, I was joking before we started recording. I'm in a little tiny Dan cave where I record and where all my man things are. With a PC in there, things get really warm really quickly. It's like, I think 2 episodes ago when it was a bit warmer, it started off at 25 degrees in my room, and thanks to the space heater that is my PC, it was at 31 by the time we finished.
I'm not being funny though, Dan. These Xboxes get pretty damn hot as well, and they blow a lot of hot air out them vents.
No, nowhere near as hot as as the
Yeah,
PC,
and
which gets
it's
very, very, very warm.
It's a bit different when you're sitting right next to it compared to sitting on the other side of the room as well.
Yeah.
So that helps.
I mean, that's fair. Mine's at my desk, and I have like a little subsection on the desk where I initially put it, and there's about 15 centimeters of space above the console, and it heated the whole desk up. So I had to then take it out of the little alcove and put it on top instead.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my Series X sitting in upright configuration, and frankly, I mean, the cooling system on it's very good. It's not got too hot yet. I haven't done anything that involves ray tracing on it. But generally, very impressed. The only slight negative that I have, and this is me just being probably demanding a bit too much of modern supply chains, but if I've paid a sizable amount of cash for something, when it comes out the box, well, you know what I mean. Yes,
all in £5 notes.
The branch of Argos is actually out of a bloke called Stavros's boot.
Yeah, see, this deal looks dodgy all the time. You walked into Argos with a bag of cash.
Yeah, in non-sequential bills. It was fine.
That's how I played for my PlayStation 2 back in the day. And I did it all in fives as well.
Yeah, wow.
Just so I could go. I walked into Blockbuster in Gosport.
Did you really want to make it look like you could make it
10,
rain?
15, 20.
PlayStation 2.
But yeah, the only thing is, and I know this was a problem on the earlier ones, but there is some very slight damage to the case fresh out the box.
Ooh.
It's probably just tooling marks, but there is a little bit of a chunk of plastic. Thankfully, it's at the back out. So I'm a little surprised their QC hasn't really caught up with that yet, because I kind of think if I manage to drop it and it was out of the box, that's on me. But things should generally emerge from
that might have happened at Argos. That could have been drop kicked in the warehouse for all you know.
Yeah, well, it could have been. Who knows? But but the outside of the box was fine. So yeah, it may well be just one of those things. But no, generally, very impressed with it.
Good.
Very impressed. Although the cost of the expansion drive can do one. At the moment.
That's the problem with those.
Ridiculous.
That is really silly. It just makes you not want to get one and just get a normal hard drive because you get way more for your money. But
so now you're an Xbox Chad like me, Dan.
Yes.
Does that mean that are you playing Destiny on the Xbox? Have you tried that, or are you staying on PC?
On it just to see what it was like. I'm finding it weird adjusting back to controller, but it's quite nice to have, because Game Pass essentially, and since your season pass on Destiny transfers across platforms, and because all of Destiny 2 is on Game Pass, I was like, all right, well, that hasn't cost me any more money. Yeah. So I didn't have to do my usual thing and buy a brand new copy of Destiny whenever I pick up a new platform, which is quite nice. Yeah,
72 copies sold to Dan.
I know, right? I played a bit of it with Jamie, Smash Soul, friend of the show, last night. Feels a bit weird playing on controller, but, very, very nice, good experience. And whilst PC gaming is great, there's something just so nice about when all like the multiplayer stuff and the communication and the hooking up in parties just works. A console platform can't. Only a console platform can really deliver that, with a very closed ecosystem, admittedly. But
well, I'll tell you what, Dan, I will install Destiny now that I know you can play it on the Xbox.
And I will even play Sea of Thieves, Coleman. How's that?
Yes! Yay! I have a question, Dan.
Yes. No, I won't play Rise. Next question.
Well, that's one question. That's not a question. You should be playing Rise. That's all I'm saying.
No, I really shouldn't.
Yeah, like you mentioned about switching games, and that's one thing. Is that one thing that the Xbox does better than PCs? Is it easier now to switch between games, like going from one to the other, than it is on like loading up a PC, especially if you're having to go from one client to another, possibly?
Yeah, but also you have to completely quit out of the application on the PC and then load a new one. Are you ready for me to get my dork on about this, Tim? I can tell you why.
Will I regret asking this question?
Yeah. Essentially, my understanding of how the Xbox Series X works is that it essentially spins up the equivalent of a Docker container. Have you heard of a Docker container before?
Yeah, they're them boots that you wear.
Yeah,
the black
exactly
ones with the yellow stitching.
It's how they put
Dockers.
things on big ships.
Yes,
Docker Martens.
exactly. Tim.
Yeah.
So basically, all right, so imagine, okay, you've got several pairs of shoes.
All
I'm
right.
going to have to go for a shoe-based analogy.
I don't even have to imagine that, Dan. I do have
okay.
several pairs of shoes.
Several pairs of shoes.
Wow.
So rather than
Someone's
have
earning.
to make the shoe from scratch each time you want to put it on,
Right.
okay, which I think we can all agree would be tedious. The shoe's there, ready to go.
Laborious
So you just instantly
as well.
put on your
Whoa.
shoe.
I need my own
What
sweatshop.
shoe witchcraft
in my
is
house.
this?
You would. So essentially, what I'm trying to get at is, so essentially, each game you run on an Xbox exists in its own little environment. So
On the
so
docks.
it's essentially like a little, as far as it's concerned, is one computer that's been put on standby,
Right.
and basically gets its state saved. And as soon as you load it up, it just thinks it's just been turned back on again and instantly picks up where it left off, which you can't really do with PC unless you are running all of your games in their own virtual machines. So that's how I think it does it. And it's very, very impressive. And load times are ridiculous. In a good way.
Yeah. I mean, I just I've been playing well, we'll talk about it later, but I've been playing a game on the Series S that's made for the Series S, and it's I'll talk about it later, but it's Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX, and it's one of my favorite old games that I used to play a lot, and on the Master System initially, built into the Master System too. That's how most people played that game. And the load times on that game, I know that it's just a little thing, but it loads like it's a cartridge game. It's so cool, and like it's a game that you can switch between classic and regular mode, and if you die, you reload and all this kind of stuff. Menus to the actual game, and it just does it instantaneously. It's super cool.
Yeah, I think, as you said, it's a bane of the last generation particularly, but it's been something that's been a feature of games since they kind of switched to CDs, that we've had ever increasing long load times, basically. And like you say, it's like going back to the days of cartridges, and we've kind of, finally caught back up.
Although I think you'll find the bus width of a Super Nintendo meant that it was not technically instantaneous. It was just that you hadn't saturated the bandwidth because file sizes were so much smaller.
Well, there is that.
There is that,
There you go.
definitely.
Told you, Tim. Don't poke me with these technological questions. This is what happens. My adenoids triple in size, and then I start boring you to death in the same way that you bore me to death with menu talk.
Oh, it's an
All right.
entirely different way that I bore you to death.
Well,
entirely different.
maybe.
Can I tell you my next generation story now?
Yeah, please do, Coleman.
Yes.
Okay, so as everyone may know, I've
Does it feature
been on the hunt
Picard?
for
Not that
Sure.
kind of next generation.
Oh, okay.
Tim.
why not?
Right.
And Worf.
Good.
I know Star Trek stuff. I think.
Oh, was he the one they park all the boats next to?
No, he's that guy.
Are we back in the
That's a
docks?
very visual thing
I'm
for
glad
anyone
Tim
listening.
appreciated that.
Anywho, so as you guys know,
Cornish pasty head. That's him, isn't it?
yeah, that's him. I've been trying to get a PlayStation 5 for a while, and
Really?
this hunt initially started with I wanted to get one for myself and one for my girlfriend. I managed to get one for my girlfriend, even though it was much later than initially intended. Like, missed her birthday, missed Christmas, and eventually managed to get one. So it was just random surprise PlayStation. Here you go. Got hers, and then completely struggled to get mine. I've signed up to groups and notifications and Discord accounts and all this kind of stuff to try and get a hold of one, and mobile phone pinging at 4 a.m, and I always seem to miss out on them. And then I got a Discord notification, and it was a message from our listener, Spiky Chris, who I nearly called Spicy Chris.
Spicy Chris.
Yeah, Spiky Chris.
He's
Spiky
Spicy
Chris.
Chris.
And he's something along the lines of, are you still looking for a PlayStation 5? Yes, I am. Okay. I've got a VIP pass that I don't want anymore. One of the Curry's VIP passes. I'm like, oh, cool. And I thought those were kind of...
Can I just say, being a VIP at Curry's, nowhere near as exciting as being a VIP anywhere else.
No,
Just walking in. I think I'd like to see the Hoover section, thank you.
I think you'll find, sir, that I have fondling privileges on that Dyson handheld vacuum cleaner over there.
It's like when you go to a nightclub and your mate's like, "Oh, I got us VIP passes," and you're like, "Okay, what's that entail?" I go, "Well, instead of that door, we go in that door," and then they just lead to the same room.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he said, "Oh, I got a VIP pass." Now, if you don't know, Currys went, "Hey," because they had a complete nose up with their stock where they went with their stock where they got rid of, they did all their pre-orders, and then on launch day they were like, "Okay, on launch day we're going to sell more stock. You can log in and get your stock." And then some crafty people managed to get in on the site through some backsite links and reserve themselves PlayStations and then buy them way before the actual deadline. So they were all gone like 3 a.m. It was meant to go live at 9. Curry scrambled, said they were going to to reject all of those orders and restart again at 12. Turns out they can't do that on a legal standpoint, so had to honor all of those pre-orders.
Wow.
So all the stock that had been coming in had to then go to fulfilling pre-orders that they fulfilling sales that they'd made that they couldn't actually fulfill at the time. So Currys have had no stock for a very long time. And then eventually when they started getting stock in, they went, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. VIP system, you register, only one person can register via to each IP address, details, address, phone number, all that kind of stuff. We'll send you a code, you log into this website, you give the code, we'll contact you, you can buy a PlayStation over the phone." So that's what happened. I have registered, I didn't get a code. Chris got a code, he sent that to me, very, very kind, really appreciative. So I put the code in, and about 2 weeks later, they give me a call. A lovely woman give me a call from the Liverpool office, and she went through the details, and I went, "Okay, cool. I've got my Currys e-gift vouchers to pay for this here PlayStation." They went, "Oh no, sorry, you can't use those." The reason being is that the sales were done through Currys business, so they didn't have to stick them on the Currys website, and they can't accept the e-vouchers. So the workaround to this was and this was for a disc version. They didn't have any digital version.
Yeah.
With a year's worth of PlayStation Plus, so it's like 520 quid, and so you had to buy a disc version. And okay, what you can do is buy the PlayStation and then go into your local store. We'll let them know you're coming, and then you can go in and they'll refund the console to your card, and then you rebuy it with your vouchers. I'm like, okay, I don't have £520 to throw around like that. So initially I said no. And
surely you have a credit card.
Well, I do, but I don't have that much limit on it at the minute because I bought another PlayStation, Tim. So
wakey, Tim, pay attention, mate.
They called me back. They said, "Well, if you change your mind, you've got to like 5:30 this afternoon." And then my girlfriend came home, and I explained to her, and she went, "Well, I will pay for it on my credit card." And I was like, "I don't really want you to do it." And eventually, I was like, "Okay, all right, fine, we'll go for it." And
I've got a great image of you and your girlfriend going full old lady. Go, "No, I insist. I'll
put
pay
your
for
money
it. No, put that away.
Your money
put
is
it
no
away."
good.
Well, the whole thing was I was worried that she would then put it on her credit card, and then I would go to Currys and they'd say, "No, we're not doing that at all." So I got like as many reassurances as I could that this thing would be okay to do. So called up, did the order, sale went through, paid and all that kind of stuff. They sent me a notification saying, "Yep, sale's gone through. We'll let you know when the delivery, it should be a couple of days." And then the next day, they gave me a call and they went, "I'm really sorry, Mr. Coleman. When we processed your order, we don't have any PlayStations left."
By the way, that is my shocked face for those of you on the audio feed. Oh, Coleman. So then tell me, after that crushing blow to your emotions, how did you cope? What happened?
Well,
what happened
they
next?
said they haven't got any, but as soon as they're in stock, I'm first in line to get them. And at this point, I'm really worried because that means my girlfriend's just stuck 120 quid on her credit card that she's then going to be paying interest on, which means I'm going to be then paying interest on.
I mean, next thing you know, this is how you find yourself in a car park in B&Q in Slough, holding a poorly fashioned screwdriver that you're going to use to shank somebody as they come out of Argos.
at this point, now they're not double the price on eBay. I might as well just go pay a scalper, you know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that. So
Screw scalpers, don't do that. Let them lose money.
at this point, they said, "Hey, look, it's good." I mean, this was all going on a couple of months ago, and I haven't been talking about it on the show because I've been that knocked off by this. Went through with this, and they said, like, we'll keep your money, and we'll let you know when we got one in stock, and we'll do the whole thing again. I'm like, all right,
We'll
fine.
keep your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheers, business.
And anyway, long story short, they finally called me back, and
Yay!
Nice one. There we go.
there we go. So those on the audio version, that is a PlayStation 5 disc version in my hand that I just strained my wrist lifting up.
Nice.
It is a big, ugly beast.
It is a unit, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Annoyingly, it arrived today, and I haven't had the chance to go to Curry's to get the refund to repay for it. So at the moment, it's all got to stay in the box. And much like your thing, Dan, I'm then and I've got to, like, my girlfriend drives, I don't drive. I've got to make sure she can drive me down and stuff, because I am no way walking down to Curry's holding a console that no one can buy, a lot of people want, and everyone knows how much
Surely
it's
you don't
worth.
need to take the physical console in, no? Or do you
totally
to do the
do.
refund? Okay, yeah, I guess.
Otherwise, it's like, yes, I have a PlayStation 5. You should give me the money.
So yeah, we're gonna go tomorrow after work, and hopefully that PlayStation will be mine. I've cleared away my PS4 now. Like, there's a big gap under my desk, ready to slot that in.
What did you play on it last to let it know that you really cherished the time together?
I think it was GTA, because I was doing the online, picking up my extra monies.
Yeah, unless you have another room where you really need to game, you don't need your PS4 anymore once you've transferred all your files and stuff over, basically.
God, it's not even cold yet, Tim.
I'm just saying, like, in previous generations, you might have wanted to hang on to it to play, the previous generation's games, but you just don't need to do that anymore, basically. So
no, because everything is now back. I think officially everything is backwards compatible now.
Yeah.
Initially, there was like one or two titles that wasn't. I don't know. Did they do Robinson, The Journey? Is that backwards compatible now?
I think it was on the schedule to do. I didn't hear about it being done, but yeah, like, you don't need to go back for that game anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, but I've got this big case that I bought for the PSVR, and there's a section for that fits a PS4 Pro, and I don't really want to get rid of it because that's the one that I fitted a 2 terabyte drive into, and I really like that. Look, it's done me well, so I've packed it away. I've just loaded fighting games on it. I might take it around my dad's. You know, I might do something with it.
Have you put it in a little cardboard box with, like, some little shredded up newspaper in the bottom? So
no, it's in a carry case. I just told you it's in a carry case, Dan. Big, heavy, like, giant suitcase that has all these different compartments to put PlayStation things in.
For when you want to be a mobile PlayStation salesman person or something.
It might go to work for lunch breaks.
Well, yeah, I've got one game that I've been playing this week that gives you another reason to want to own a PS5 as well, Mr. Coleman.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I didn't mention it last week because we had all the E3 stuff to get through and stuff as well.
And we wouldn't let you.
But yeah, also that actually gave me time to finish the game, which I did last night. Rolled credits on that. And I think I've done all the side mission stuff. I don't think there's anything left. There's a few collectibles and stuff to go back in and do. And it does give you the option to go back in and replay at a harder level with the weapons you've already unlocked and stuff like that going through. So I'm probably going to do that. Just to put it in context, I haven't really played many of the Ratchet. Well, I've played a few of the Ratchet and Clanks before, but always like a few years after they were initially released and when they came for free or something, or, just seeing them around. I've kind of admired them from afar. They've been a game that I've been like, I'm sure I'd probably enjoy them if I spent some time with them, and that definitely turns out to be the case with this. It's definitely a good kind of showpiece for the PS5 and for the DualSense controller as well. A little less kind of obviously gimmicky in some ways than the way that the DualSense was used in Astrobot's Playroom, where it was a bit more like one-dimensional. This is the thing you will use in this level that uses part of the DualSense type thing. And it's a bit more integrated in Ratchet and Clank, and, it kind of just, some of the weapons have functions that rely on the pressure-sensitive triggers. The one that is probably the most useful, but also I found a bit tricky to get used to, was the sniper rifle. So you zoom with the right trigger. If you want to slow down time, you partially hold down the right trigger, and then to shoot, you fully pull it.
I thought to slow down time, we got you to speak about game menus, Tim.
Well, talk about menus generally.
Right.
But yeah, like,
This sounds all very kind of GameCube with the pressure sensitive controls, how they used to do like Mario Sunshine and stuff.
Because I thought the big selling point was that the fact that they were haptic, the controller, rather than embracing the kind of analog trigger stuff, which every controller's had since PS2 days.
Yeah,
much.
and that's one thing I realised. I was actually listening to the Giant Bomb podcast today, and they were talking about playing through the game, and the chap that said that was talking about it said that he found one of the things with the DualSense controller was that playing for a long amount of time, it got a bit tiring on his hands. It's kind of the constant vibrations and the vibrations through the triggers and stuff. And that's one thing I haven't massively talked about, like especially with Dirt 5 when I was playing that and a few other games. I turned the rumble function down at a system level. Like, I have it at a lesser level than they had it to start with because I found it a bit too much, basically.
Just to jump in real quick, I will say, on Giant Bombcast, they were the guy that was talking about that. I can't remember his name, but he was saying that he does have a medical condition with his hands and his wrists. So
yes, but
that exacerbated it.
Yeah, it's something where I've had problems with tendinitis type conditions from using a keyboard and mouse for too much, to the point where I've actually switched in the last few years to using a trackable and had less problems with that. But yeah, it's something that I might be a bit sensitive to as well, basically. But it's something that I just realised I hadn't particularly mentioned on the show, that I'd done that and turned that down at a system level. So in some ways, right, I may have seen less of the less of the haptics than I might have otherwise. It's something I might turn back on just to see if there's any difference for Ratchet and Clank particularly. But yeah, overall, I didn't find that the haptic triggers or the fact that they were pressure sensitive particularly lent that much to it. I ended up just pulling them most of the time because that's what I'm used to doing with a trigger.
It might just be a case of having to get used to it.
Yes,
so I remember
yes.
when I first got an Xbox One and they had the haptic triggers for racing games and stuff. That used to flare up because I get arthritis in two of my knuckles. That used to flare up because of the rumbling there, but after a while it stopped. So I think I just got used to the triggers. So I don't know if I just got a lesser version.
Yeah,
but hey,
obviously you can. I think over time you'll build up a bit of a tolerance to it. Just in your muscles will become strengthened against that sort of thing. So again, that's something I'll have to see over time. But yeah, I'm kind of used to that as well because I've had the Xbox triggers and I've played probably more driving games on the Xbox recently than the PlayStation, but I found it particularly a problem with Dirt 5 because it does a lot of stuff to simulate when you're going over broken ground and stuff, and I just found that a little bit too much when I was trying to play the game over a period of time. It was okay for one or two races, but if I wanted to sit down and play the game for an hour or so, it got annoying, basically. But yeah, just to get back to the point of Ratchet and Clank, as I said, it's a good showpiece in terms of visual fidelity, also in terms of loading times. And you said about the loading times on Xbox, but this does something again, literally the kind of rifts that it mentions in the title do kind of open up and give you portals to other worlds, and there's pocket dimensions and stuff where you can within a level open up a rift and then walk straight through that rift and you're into a sub-level. It's a little kind of platform type challenge that you've got to get through.
Your favourite.
Yeah, and they weren't significantly hard enough to be really annoying for me, so that I don't think they're the most challenging of platforming type levels, but they're more almost puzzle. like solving the puzzle of the path rather than actually having to do anything strenuously platformy.
Because that instantaneous loading was something they really kind of tried to show off back at kind of around PS5 launch time, wasn't it? Where it's like, look, a completely brand new environment, you're instantly loaded into it, and you would not have been able to do that on prior generations. And they're right, you wouldn't have been able to. And I think it's really interesting because it's that kind of under the hood tech that I actually think is driving what's so awesome about this current gen of consoles, as opposed to just pure bells and whistles. And don't get me wrong, Ratchet and Clank looks incredible. It looks like a Pixar movie.
Yeah, it was a good
insane.
MacGuffin to kind of like be an underpinning for the story, but also be a good showcase for being able to simultaneously load between different areas. And it's a bit weird. In kind of combat, it's used slightly ineffectively, I'd say almost. It's just a way to like teleport. Like if there's a portal on the other side of a combat arena, you can use it to teleport over there by just kind of lassoing yourself kind of over there almost.
I like lassoing, though, really.
And yeah, that's okay. It kind of works all right, and it's quite good. But then where it really kind of shines is, as I said, when you're kind of walking from one area to another in the pocket dimensions. But where it like looks outstanding and is really well done is in the kind of set pieces, and it uses that when you're like, and you've seen some of that, and I won't spoil the stuff that you haven't seen, but when you're like falling into a portal and falling between worlds and going from one world to another, and going from like grind rail to another thing, and there's big massive things going on around you, and those set pieces are always done really well, and the riffs kind of add another dimension to that, literally kind of thing. Like it really, that really kind of goes like, it's graphically spectacular anyway, but when you're graphically spectacularly going between all these different places instantaneously, it really kind of nails home of, okay, this is really showing off this technology, and this technology is quite good, basically.
So Tim, let me put you on the spot here. I mean, I like you, haven't played a great deal of Ratchet. I'm aware of the franchise's existence, but it kind of perhaps slightly passed me by over the years. Taking all of the bells and whistles, as much as you can, back from it, is there a good game underneath all of this?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things. I think dealing with two sides of that, the story and the mechanics kind of thing. Story-wise, if you haven't been invested in the Ratchet and Clank universe, it doesn't really matter, because it's introducing kind of new characters from this different alternate dimension, and they're kind of melding them together. One, it's a bit different and stuff like that, and I think fans of the series might get a kick out of seeing alternate versions of things that I didn't really notice or care about. But in terms of like, because it's introducing Rivet and Kit as well as Ratchet and Clank, and you're almost spending as much, if not more, time with Rivet and Kit, although it does kind of mix up the pairings as you go through the game. But because you're spending as much, if not more, time with those characters, like they're kind of being introduced to themselves, like introducing themselves to each other throughout the story, and being introduced to the audience, and like the pacing and the way it introduces the story and the way that's all done. It's a fairly simplistic story. Dr. Nefarious is basically trying to take over the universe. But
to be fair, with a name like that, what other options have you got?
Yeah, there's now multiple Nefariouses, though. And basically, Rivet is an alternate dimension version of Ratchet, and Kit, as we kind of come to, is possibly an alternate version of Clank. But yeah, like anyway,
that wasn't even in the trailers. You just spoiled something for us.
What?
But that story type of thing, like you don't need to have a grounding going in. But I also think that, yes, and most people have spoken about the fact that it's a good showcase and it's a visual showcase and stuff like that. And I do think it's one of those games where going down the line in a few years, this may seem a bit limited and but it is a well-paced, really enjoyable third-person shooter game at its core. And it's not only is it well-paced in terms of story, it's well-paced in the way it passes the weapons out to you. It's also like well-designed in the way it encourages you to go from one weapon to another. There is quite a wide arsenal of weapons. The one weapon that I knew from previous games, which I was slightly disappointed didn't make a return in this one, was the Groovatron. I'd seen that before. That was a lot of fun. I would have liked that to come back. But yeah, all the stuff they've done, and a lot of the stuff does show off things really technical. Like there are, without spoiling too much, there's I think it's Glove of Doom or something it's called, where you can and all the weapons change names as you level them up, because you level them up by using them, and when they go to level 5, which is their max, they change names and their powers change slightly as well. But yeah, it's got this one weapon where you can throw out a squad of little robotic enemies that help you, and you can throw out, I think, 5 sets of them maximum. But then there's 30 of those running around, and then you've got these fungi things that you can throw out, and all of a sudden you've got this massive army of things on your side. It can get to the point where there's massive armies of things attacking you as well, and then you've got all these huge weapons like the massive rocket launcher thing that you're launching, and the amount of particle effects and enemies and all these different things and buddies you've got, and all lighting up and all looking really highly detailed, and everything going off at once with no slowdown, and you're like, okay, wow, this is this is technically something. It really is.
This is technically something. That's right.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
But I think
technically a game.
But I think if you are a fan of video games, you will enjoy playing this game because it's fundamentally a good and entertaining video game, but also because it shows off the future of what this generation can do as well. So
no, I mean, I'm really glad to hear that, because my concern was that this is almost going to be it ran the risk, I thought, of perhaps being this generation's Clank, which was kind of a technical showcase first and a game kind of second. But I'm really glad to hear.
Do you mean Knack?
Knack, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Ratchet and Knack.
I got very confused.
I'm gonna say this as someone who played Knack and quite liked.
What?
Knack,
never heard of it.
Actually, if you got into the Lego games because they made a million of those things, Knack is basically a Lego game.
Yeah,
without the license.
You can see elements of Ratchet and Clank that are going to, Lego's going to be able to take it up a notch, basically, in this generation, with all the kind of, it said there's particle effect stuff, but you're collecting all the nuts and bolt type things that you get for the currency in the game. And the amount that just flows into you from the environment as you're walking through, it's millions of things are flying at you. It's ridiculous. They have taken a few of those things and literally ramped them all the way up to ridiculous, basically. But yeah, really enjoyable little game. Really enjoyed playing through it and highly recommend it, basically. So yeah.
Jolly splendid.
Okay.
It was good.
But that's not all you've played, Timothy. You've gone from the bleeding edge of technological gaming innovation to slightly and this is no diss on the hardware that you were playing it on, but it's the original games themselves probably date back to somewhere circa 1979 to 1982.
Yes, there's a game I'm going to talk about
when
in
Dan
a minute.
was
that's
30.
literally as old as me. And that is old, in case anyone's doubt.
Tiddlywinks.
But yeah. Again, didn't talk about it last week because of E3,
Ball in a
but
cup.
have been speaking for the last couple of weeks about the Evecade unit that
Stick
I was
and
sent.
hoop.
And yeah, so I was sent a review copy of it, just kind of stating that, and review copies of the game, but it was not the starter pack that just comes with the game that I spoke about previously, but the premium pack, I think it's called, that comes with 2 extra games, which, by the way, top hint, is currently listed on Game's website, possibly incorrectly, at the same price as the starter pack. So might want to...
Looks a mercy.
Might want to pick that up while that's still the case, possibly. But yeah, the other sort of collection of games I was going to talk about this week was one of the other ones that comes in that premium pack, but it was also available to buy separately if you didn't want to, if you just got the starter pack as well. And basically, it's a collection of, I believe, 20 games on the Atari Collection. I think it's just called the Atari Collection 1. I called it Volume 1 before, but I think it's just Atari.
Atari Collection Volume 1.
Oh, is it Volume 1? It's got volume in the name. Okay. But then, yeah, it's a collection of Atari 2600 and Atari 7800 games. there's a couple of questions there. I spoke about this previously when I was actually looking forward to possibly playing it, and basically 2600 was my original first console. I've still got one somewhere in the flat. I need to buy a like replacement power pack thing for it to
Wood finish?
Back when Tim was 50.
But yeah, console made of wood. So, we're going back some years. But yeah, like you kind of expect that
when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
You kind of expect...
And had tiny little hands, which is why they had the tiny little joysticks.
Yes, tiny little joysticks. Just
One
my
button.
T-Rexes.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you kind of expect that... And we've got used to very much being the case that the console manufacturers make the best games for their consoles, or the highest quality games and kind of the tentpole games for this. One of the things I forget about going back to the Atari is, especially in the later years when the games got a bit more complex and a bit better, for want of a better word, it wasn't Atari that was making the best games. It was Activision.
Yeah. Well, Atari's whole thing was because not only were they running a home console market, but they made arcade machines.
Yeah.
And their whole thing was, how do we get the thing from this big, super powerful computer to run at home? And in a lot of cases, it was
badly
to look like crap.
Yep. Absolutely. I enjoy trying to... You know what I think? Okay, this is me going proper old man here. Kids these days with their 4Ks and their HDRs are bloody spoiled.
Fuck you,
all right?
eh?
Playing Adventure, where I had to convince myself my hero, my Adonis of world-saving awesomeness was I had to imagine that he was that yellow block, and I had to imagine what he looked like. It took some real brain power and some imagination. And I think all of this newfangled, good-looking stuff it's bad for kids' brains. It's going to rot their faces.
Well, Dan,
look at the Atari version of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
Thomas Was Alone says hello. You know what I mean? Like, they're still
That's
square blocks.
That's just new age. That's new age fun with a vintage feel.
A vintage feel. By the way, that song's 10 years old now, so now it's cool again.
But yeah, Adventure's one of the games that I remember playing on my 2600 back in the day, and yeah, it did bring back some fond memories, and then instantly go, oh yeah, and I remember being so confused about this game as well. I may have got as far as I ever got in playing it on the console, basically. I may have even got further, possibly, because I think I did some other bits that I might not have seen before. But yeah, like it's really weird going back to a game that you fondly remember as a kid, and then you go back and go, oh yeah, no, it really was just a castle in the middle of a thing, and then the next screen was literally just a couple of walls, and oh yeah, there was the whole maze bit. Oh, all right, okay, yeah. But it's one of those things where most of those Atari 2600 things, it's like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't pay a lot of money to try this again, because it's been nice, but I'm probably not going to rush back to it very quickly, sort of thing. I mean,
right.
There's a real kind of, dearth in quality especially between the games in the early 80s and the games shortly after that. Like, some of the
That's
games...
what a good old market crash will do for you when you realise that you've shot yourself in the foot by selling utter garbage.
Well, I mean, Asteroids is pretty much Asteroids. It's got 66 different versions of Asteroids, although a lot of that seems to be slightly different coloured versions of Asteroids. Asteroids where they just fall down in the side. And it's not really significantly different. You'd be hard pressed to find the differences on a lot of them, I guess, but...
That has to be the best review of Asteroids of any version ever.
Yeah.
Asteroids is basically Asteroids.
Well, most people know what you're getting with Asteroids these days, no?
Yeah, Asteroids. That's what I said.
Bruce Willis.
I'm complimenting you.
But you go back to games like the one I mentioned that's as old as me that I was playing this week was Night Driver. I don't know if you remember
that game.
Right. I thought I do vaguely remember this game and playing it, but I think I played and I was trying to remember the name of the game. It was Rally something, but anyway, there was another game that was after this. That's the game I played.
Was it
driving game
Daytona?
on the 2600 that I played a lot more than this. But Night Driver
Ridge Racer.
Night Driver.
Night Driver is almost literally the, hey, look, you could make a driving game by making, like, the road go left and right a bit on screen, and then you have to steer left and right accordingly, basically. Like, but it's like, yeah, it's almost a very basic concept. Like the different kind of modes on that, like I said about the 66 different versions of Asteroids, the different modes on that are literally like a few different courses, and that's literally like, well, you go left on this one, you go right on this, like there's very little difference and stuff like that. But it's odd seeing like how simplistic a driving game can be and still kind of work. Like, this is really going back to the origins of driving games and showing you how someone came up with the idea of, this is how we could make a driving game work with this technology, basically.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that's interesting you say about actually how fast and loose Atari played with that. Yeah, totally, it's the same game you play in the arcades, mate. It's fine. Like Night Driver in the arcades was an entirely different, actually quite half decent for the time experience, whereas this was literally...
This was not necessarily a good conversion of it as well.
No.
But yeah, there was a couple of things I was... Right, there's a couple of games that I played and I'm like, they weren't like massively fond memories, but like the pinball game that's on there is kind of a functional pinball game, but I can't see that you would have much enjoyment out of it if you didn't have any like reverence. The only reason I enjoyed it is because I remember seeing that game 35 years ago, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure how much enjoyment you'd possibly get if that wasn't the case. There's a couple of games that, like, one that I thought both of them that I thought I'd never played and realised that I had played, but thought they were broken at the time, so never played them. One of those is Tempest. I don't understand why that game is held in reverence. I don't understand what that game is asking me to imagine that it is representing. I don't.
The internet might hate you for that opinion.
Like, I turn the screen on and I'm like, what am I looking at here? Is it...
You're a cyberbug.
I've no idea. And then the one that's on there that's a sequel to a game that I played previously, and it's a sequel that came out in 2005 for the Atari 2600. So yeah, like, it was obviously one of those games that was made, a long time after the console. But that was Yar's Return.
I love Yar's Return.
But yeah, wasn't it Yar's Revenge originally on the 2600?
It was.
Yar's Revenge.
But again, like, I played that game and I was like, oh, I literally thought the cartridge was broken. That I think I had a cartridge of Yar's Revenge and realised, oh, I thought when I plugged this game in, it wasn't supposed to look like that. So I never
you mean
played
the psychedelic
the
pixel
cartridge
vomit?
was broken.
The side.
Yeah. It looks all weird on the screen. And I was like, oh, I didn't realise that was deliberate. Okay, I guess.
Is it Yar's Revenge or Yar's Return that has the first ever video game Easter egg in it? It's one of those.
Well, no,
whatever came first
was before Yar's.
Was it Adventure? I thought it was Yar's.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that had an Easter egg in it. I can't remember what it was.
An Easter egg in it, but one of them is credited as the first Easter egg.
Oh, okay. Look up who got the first Easter egg. One of the things I actually found most interesting and the games that were actually most enjoyable were some of the games I'd never played before, though. I don't know about you guys. Did you ever play an Atari 7800?
No.
I remember seeing them in candies.
I had a Commodore Plus 4.
I don't remember anyone ever owning them, so I never played them before. But yeah, the 4 games, you said there was, I think you mentioned there was 4 games on the system. And yeah, like, again, never played them before, but Alien Brigade is a very not brilliant, but a capable kind of clone of Operation Wolf, basically, with aliens rather than like army people. And yeah, that's surprisingly good. Kind of light gun game type thing. I don't know if it came with a light gun on the original console, but it plays okay on the little handheld or on the TV. And yeah, it is what it is. It's still a fairly simple game, but it's a bit more complicated than it was before. Oh, is that the what? Do you find
that
the
is
Easter
the
egg?
first ever video game Easter egg I've just sharing.
Was that in Adventure though?
That was in Adventure.
Yeah. See, so
that was in Adventure. You're right. I remember where I'm mixing them up. Yar's Revenge. The developer of that made E.T.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
I think I saw those two things in a similar documentary,
made ET
and
in
I've got them mixed up in my
or
head.
something. Poor guy, but hey.
I know he didn't want to release the damn thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Bless
no,
him.
it was what? No. If I remember correctly, it wasn't 6 weeks, but it was crunched heavily. He did it mostly on his own, and he presented it to Steven Spielberg, who was happy with the product for him to release, and also he was very proud of what he did. It wasn't that he went, "Oh, I'm not really happy with this thing."
It's no boom blocks. That's all I'm saying.
Thing is, it's not a controversial opinion. ET is not a terrible game. If you pick up an emulated version and go, right, I'm going to play ET, it makes absolutely no sense. If you read the instruction booklet that comes in the cartridge and you make sense of what is going on around you, it's not bad. It's actually a pretty decent representation for what's available in the time.
Well, hey, I mean, speaking of decent representations, Food Fight is a game I'd never really played before as well. Like,
I love Food Fight.
I'd heard of it before, and I was like,
Food Fight's good.
now I see why other people like Food Fight. Food Fight is a decent little arcade game. I quite like that. Picking up food from the ground and throwing it at people makes more sense than what you do in Final Fight of picking it up and getting health. So, that's good.
Hey, look, all the best chicken comes out of a bin, all right?
Chicken.
Bin chicken.
And Motorcycle, which sounds like it's going to be more Road Rash and possibly
like a wrestler.
is. I think there's a way to
Don't
beat people
start.
up in it, but it's kind of super hang on with a bit of punching, I think. But I still haven't successfully punched an opponent. But
Well, I think that's good that's a skill you haven't chosen. Tim.
But my favourite game of the lot, because it's just so crazy and I've never heard of it before. Ninja Golf.
I'll have that all day, thank you.
Yeah, right. For some reason, no particular reason at all. You take your tee off, and then you got to fight some ninjas or frogs, depending on if you end up in the rough or not. Basically, big
ninja frogs
things with ninjas or just ninjas,
Right.
and then you got
Well, that's because they couldn't get the licensing rights for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do you
But
think?
however far you're going up the fairway or going in the rough or whatever, you've then got to fight your way through that many enemies until you get to your ball, and then you take your next shot. There wasn't much there wasn't any kind of timing with the hitting or anything. You just hit it in the right direction and then beat stuff up. But
Sweet.
yeah, and then when you get to the green, I don't know what happens after this because I haven't successfully beat it. But when you get to a green, you fight a dragon with ninja stars, as you do.
Of course you do.
As you do.
As you would in Ninja Golf, of course.
Of course.
Really, really dumb, but I kind of like it, despite getting a bit frustrated with not beating that boss, despite getting there with all of my
It
lines
sounds
and everything.
wonderfully ludicrous, that I have to say.
It's so silly. I don't entirely know why it didn't get ported to other things and hasn't gone on to be a success. Yeah, there's some other games I haven't mentioned, and I won't go through everything one by one. But there's a few hits and misses, and it was interesting to go back to, as I said. But it's weird that I actually had a better time with the games that I didn't have any memories of, and didn't have the nostalgia for, than I did with a lot of the ones that I either thought I did, or what I did knew I played back in the past, or forgot that I had. But yeah, I would say if you don't have that nostalgia, it's obviously going to be a hard sell, but it's still interesting from a gaming perspective standpoint of gaming history and seeing where ideas were originally formed in terms of
In
adventure,
brains, Tim, that's where ideas are formed.
And Night Driver and stuff like that. And then it's got some games that are still good fun to play and still good, like Missile Command and Asteroids and Centipede. And I don't know about you, I confuse Centipede in my head with Snake whenever anyone says Centipede, but it's a different game.
Never.
But that was enjoyable, and just playing through those sorts of things. It's more the standout titles that are probably going to, give you a better reason to buy. But it's still an enjoyable little collection of games. And I haven't really mentioned the Evecade unit itself, but again, that's just been enjoyable playing on that and going through, a trip down memory lane, basically.
Jolly splendid.
Good.
Jolly splendid. Well, We've done quite a lot of talking about what we've done play, but there are a couple of nuggets of news that have been crimped out in this post E3 world.
Before we get to news, can I just say, since trying to start the game in 2007, I finally beat Mass Effect.
Woohoo! So 14 years it took you to beat Mass Effect 1, yeah?
But was it
New Age
is
fun
it the
with a vintage
legendary?
feel? It was good. Yeah, it was in the Legendary Edition.
Good.
And I realized after I completed it, because I was saving the DLC side quest for when I finished the main quest, and it turns out you can't do that, and that save's already in play now, and I don't want to go back and do it again. And then when I tried to go back, it put me straight back into the boss fight.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was messing around with the options, and I realized I've been playing it in 30 frames per second.
Oh.
And then when I switched it to 60, I went, oh, Jesus Christ, it's so fast. So I'll be playing Mass Effect 2 in 60 frames a second now.
As
Mass
you
Effect
well
1.
should, young fella, my lad.
Mate, Mass Effect 2, that's the one I want to hear you talk about.
I know. I'm going to play a different game in between now, because now I'm playing Halo for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Flippin' heck. Yeah, Halo didn't age well, even in the Master Chief Collection, I didn't feel. But
I don't know. I mean, this is one, again, I started and I got in a warthog, and then it got clipped into a cliff and I got knocked off and sent it back. Now I'm playing and I've got past that point, so I'm okay.
wow,
I'm
okay.
Storming a beach of some kind. It seems fun. I'm enjoying it. But yes, we don't really have time for the news, so we don't have time to talk about how Cyberpunk 2077 is back on the PlayStation Store, even though both PlayStation and CD Projekt have had to put out information saying, hey, don't play this on a base PS4.
Wow.
Just play it on the regular versions.
Yeah.
We don't have time to talk about how Tekken X Street Fighter has been cancelled and then has not been cancelled at the same time. We don't have time to talk about how there's rumours of a new Dead Space title to be announced at EA Play Live.
Please let there be a new Dead Space, because that's phenomenal.
But we do have time to say... We do have time to say, Dan, how much do you think Anthem's worth?
How much do I think Anthem's worth?
Yeah, you like predicting, you like giving us the exact costing of Anthem. How much do you think it's worth now?
All right, I've got one. I've got. Okay, can I have one question? Question. Is it still me paying someone money for Anthem, or is someone paying me to take Anthem off their hands?
Well,
that's your with your own cash money.
I think it's worth 27 pence.
It's a little bit under. Currently, Anthem is priced at £2.39.
Wow.
Ooh.
Actually, you could do a lot worse, £2.39.
That's the lowest we've seen so far.
Isn't it free on... Well, not free. Isn't it on Game Pass at the moment, though?
It's Game Pass
Play.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, EA Play Game Pass Ultimate. I will say that because I spoke about this a while ago. I got gifted a disc version of Anthem and played it for a bit and went, yeah, I'll probably come back to that. Will Driver sent us the information saying, hey, it's £2.39. Asked Dan how much it is. I did buy a digital version just because I was like, well, now I can get rid of the disc one.
See, so
I'm going to gift that to someone else.
Yeah, I've bought the disc one. I think I bought it for £5 and it's still in the cling wrap stuff. So, yeah.
Wow.
I say everyone on PlayStation, because it's 96% off.
Wow.
I reckon all of our listeners that have a PlayStation of some sort should buy Anthem, and then we should coordinate one day where we all play Anthem and try to spike the numbers.
Break the single server that's left.
We'll collaborate with as many podcasts and communities as we can, and we'll just try to get everyone to play Anthem at the same time and see if EA go, oh, we should probably kickstart that next.
Wow. Yeah,
I think that's dead.
Yeah, I think it's very dead.
96% off.
Wow.
By Grandpa's hammer.
This was in our E3 one to watches and predicted games of the year and all this kind of stuff.
But the thing is that it's got all the things that it should have been so good. It should have been so good, but it was utter garbage. They just didn't. It was half baked. They didn't support it in the right way. They fundamentally didn't understand how a game like this should be developed and nurtured post-release. So hey, it's a shame.
Just to bring in perspective how much of a discount this is, the full game of Anthem is now cheaper than the cheapest microtransaction in Anthem.
Wow.
Oh. Someone should have given it away free and then garnered some good will with that and then sold everyone stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, I
Poor
mentioned
Anthem.
Alex Kidd, Miracle World DX. I'm going to save that for next week because we're quite low on time.
Yeah, we are. So,
No, that's right. We spent half an hour talking about consoles we just bought.
yeah, I know, which
Okay.
we didn't mean to, but we did anyway. Right. So we're kind of out of time then. So are we just saying goodbye to everybody then, Coleman?
Why not?
All right, but Tim,
You
gosh.
can have one question if you fancy it.
Oh, let's do. Oh, actually, yes. I mean, gosh, quickly, Tim, and then we'll do one question.
Okay,
Anything
yeah.
new with
Gosh,
gosh?
quickly.
Yep, no major news this week. So yeah, just continuing spreading the word about Geek Out for Gosh. That's the number 4, just to make that clear. But yeah, go and search it out and get some more information. It is a way of raising money for Great Ormond Street Hospital through gaming, through some charity streaming type stuff. And you can get some more information on Geek Out for Gosh on their website or on social media channels by searching for Geek Out for Gosh.
Very good.
Good. I'm trying to see. We got a new improved soundboard, by the way.
Oh,
Just
stop.
looking at
No,
what we have.
you have a new soundboard.
A new soundboard.
Yep. Wow, I've never been happier. Thank you, Coleman, for bringing the joy that is your soundboard into our lives.
Shall I get on with a question? I think I've found suits this
Yeah,
week.
pick a question, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, one sec. Go on then.
I thought you were going to do a noise that was appropriate for a question, not a... I'm not sure that counts either. But I was going to go with Velvet Thunder's question. And they ask, what's
That version of Transformers, that Lion's cover of the Transformers theme tune is the best thing ever.
what's the
I
biggest...
really wish the Darkness had covered it, actually, but no,
What's
that's
the
a
biggest
whole rant for
gap
another
in
time.
your gaming history? Is their question? Mine is probably Yakuza. I should play some of them, they say. Right, yeah, I'm going to answer for Dan.
Right.
Your gap is Rise.
No, it's not, you idiot.
No, my gap is thighs.
Nice. Nice.
I would say, yes, much like Velvet Thunder, I have a gap of knowledge in Yakuza, but also Halo, which I'm trying, and Mass Effect, which I'm trying to rectify these three at the moment. So,
I
was going to say Yakuza is probably, I have that as well, but also the whole Crash Bandicoot thing.
I
Not
wouldn't
really.
bother, but anyway.
it's not really a gap.
No.
That's like saying you've got a gap in Mario.
Or, well, technically speaking, because I was a Nintendo boy growing up, Sonic.
Okay.
Again,
Like the whole of his career, Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2.
Nope.
Do them.
All right.
I mean, outside of games, I have quite a large gap in.
You should sort
Don't do
that
the
out.
Transformer thing so much.
1 year off.
But yeah, Yakuza's definitely on my list. But the one thing I'd say that's kind of higher up my pile of shame and stuff that I should probably play, especially considering I owned the first one and never opened it. And we spoke about Demon Souls recently, but Dark Souls and Bloodborne are definitely on my lists of... Considering how much I played Demon Souls, and how much a lot of my friends really like that series, I should probably play a bit more of them and try them out a bit more. So
See, I
might
don't
do
know,
that at some
because-
point. What's that?
Destiny.
Destiny, yeah.
That is a big old gap in
Been
your gaming
there,
history.
tried that. I've also
Have you though?
See-
Yakuza's definitely something I should play more of. But I've tried Yakuza and I get what it is, and I probably would play it and enjoy it. But yeah.
I'd say, because out of the Soulsborns, I would say Bloodborne, definitely go play that. From what I seem to recall from people talking about is like when Dark Souls came out, everyone was like, yes, Dark Souls is amazing. And then when Dark Souls 2 came out, all the fans went, yes, Dark Souls 2 is amazing. And then just before 3 came out, they went, actually, Dark Souls 2, not as good. Not made by the same people as Dark Souls 1, like didn't have the right lead and all this kind of stuff. Dark Souls 3 is where Dark Souls 3 came out. And they went, yes, this is the one. This is the one. This is back to true form. This is how we like it. Now, everyone's got, Dragons, what's the PS5 version?
Dragon's Nutsack.
Demon's Souls, thank you. Now Demon's Souls is out. Everyone, all those Dark Souls fans are going, yeah, Dark Souls 2 and 3, absolute trash. Don't bother playing them. So it's really weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to do. But also Sekiro, I haven't really played as well, and I'm not sure.
Sekiro's
Shadows Die
brilliant.
Twice. Good game.
I'm not sure which one to go with. I think I might go with Bloodborne just because it's free on the PlayStation Plus collection.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, why not?
And then I don't have to
Nothing
worry
to
about
lose.
which Dark Souls I'm playing, and yeah.
Plus, a lot of rumors seem to be pointing at a Bloodborne PC port coming soon. So, Dan, 60 frames per second Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I assume that would come to the PlayStation 5 if they did that.
What's the other one that's heavily rumoured to be coming to PC at the moment? There's another PlayStation 5 game that was rumoured to be surfacing on PC. Can't remember.
No idea.
Anyway. Yeah, well.
Someone will remind us.
Yes.
And then we'll go, oh, yeah. That's
Oh.
Anyway, I think we should probably think about wrapping up because it's starting to get as hot as Argos's bum cheeks in my lovely room.
The God or the Store?
What?
The God or the Store?
Both.
The God of Store.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The God of Store.
The clammy arse handles of Argos.
Eating my dust.
Leave that there. Nice. Right, so thank you ever so much for having a little listen. We really do appreciate it. And you just need to go to anything on the internet as BigRedBarel.com, and it pretty much is what you need to do.
Not quite anything.
BigRedBarel.com itself, where you will find a link to our lovely Discord. There's also Twitter.com/BigRedBarel, Facebook.com/BigRedBarel. Any other Big Red Barrels?
Can you stop slashing in our Big Red Barrel, please, Dan?
I'll also slash in your Big Red Barrel TV on the YouTubeage as well. So, yes,
please.
All of those things.
A lot of effort went in. The E3 one nearly killed me.
Oh.
My day off was met with, okay, the audio version is ready, and then there was a big problem with the audio, which the service we used, like I'm in contact with them at the moment about this back and forth. The video version follows after I make the audio version, and it was all ready to go. It was all going to go live in the morning, and then something went catastrophically wrong at like 2 a.m. I went, nope, time for bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to work this out tomorrow as I have it off. And the audio version, fine, fixed it. The video version was exported. I started uploading it, and then I went, I'll just have a quick quality check through this, not to CD Projekt this thing. And there was something like 30 seconds of just black screen at the start. I went, okay, got to fix that, re-export it. Again, start uploading to YouTube. Went, just for she's and geese, let's have a quick look at this video and make sure it actually exported properly. Missed a bunch off the Forza section. Read it 3 times. I had to export this flipping video before it worked eventually. So that's how my Juneteenth went. So if you watch the YouTube stuff, then let us know. It's all appreciated.
Yes, please.
Because it doesn't get as many views as we get listens, but if you like it, then let us know.
Like and subscribe, suckers.
Yeah, and someone commented on me getting things in the background of my thing. But yeah, I have moved around my lounge. I'm going to be moving rooms for a bit because I'm redecorating my lounge. So yeah, it'll be entirely different soon. But yeah, things have moved around. Hence that plant's now over.
Are you going to make an adult flat?
Yeah, thinking about it.
Really?
Well, we're going to remove the fridge from the lounge, so, you know.
Ah, boo. How are we going to LARP the young ones
Are you
anymore?
actually getting rid of the beer fridge?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Well,
where's that going?
From the lounge.
Yeah, I was going to say, we need that. I like reach. I'm not going to the kitchen to get my beers.
It's all right.
It's a tough life,
I'm
man.
offsetting the balance of losing that by insisting on we have a bar area in part of the new build. Oh,
Wow.
I have an interesting question on that as well.
Oh,
It
God,
is
yeah.
video game related, and I was going to run it
Right.
past you guys. So we got time to squeeze it in on the end of the show?
It sounds
If
like
you
we
are-
don't really have a choice, Tim.
If you can do it
yeah.
within 2 minutes.
It would be fairly quick. All right. I am oddly planning something I never thought I would buy at the moment, but to solve the problem of the fact that I have a fireplace and a massive TV and needing a place to put my consoles and
You think
also
you
kind
buy
of wanting a
nails and some
fireplace
wood?
thing. I'm buying this weird TV unit thing that has a
Right.
fireplace in it and then insulated areas either side of it for you to put I'm not putting the PS5 in there because it will probably melt, but I'm thinking about
Sounds like
putting
a
my
death
Xbox
trap.
in there and like the TV box in it basically. And then
I say, send us some pictures when we're not recording a podcast and we'll have a look.
yeah,
Yeah,
and-
because I've got absolutely no idea what the hell you're on about, mate.
well, I have to send you a picture. But I just, if anyone of our listeners is out there, recognizes the kind of thing I'm talking about and owns one of these things and it hasn't melted one of your consoles, I'd really like to hear about it, basically.
Yeah,
But,
basically,
yeah.
I think long and short of it is consoles like airflow. That sounds like another place in your front room consoles might go to die, Tim.
But, well, what I'm hoping is I can actually fit the ugly-ass PS5 on the top of this unit because it's quite low. And so it'll actually go on the top corner of it, so it'll not be very near the fire. And it's only a small electric fire because we don't need much extra heat in this room, and like that was all we were going to get if we did the fireplace properly. And this is a much cheaper option, and it means that I can do more now that I need to do, and then possibly get a proper fireplace in
Well,
the
I
future.
don't know about you, listeners. That was the most thrilling 2 minutes of my life that I had.
Yeah, you've gone over your 2 minutes and now I have to mute you, Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, bye, Tim.
There we go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Ah, lovely.
Right, do you want to wrap up, Dan?
Let's wrap up. So thank you ever so much for listening. We shall, of course, be back next week with hopefully some more stuff to talk about. But until then, all that's really left is for us to remind you that I have been Dan.
Might have been Tim.
You really,
And I have
have,
been
you really
Coleman.
have bloody muted him, haven't you?
Yeah, of course I have. Did you forget that I can do that?
You have too much power.
Do you know what, Tim? Go on then.
It's gone to your bald head, all that power.
Right, you're down again.
All right. way to scupper your chances, Timothy. No, can't hear
He's
you.
muted. It's fine.
Yeah, he's
No, it's
muted.
fine.
All right, so
Yeah.
thanks ever so much for downloading us. We'll be back next week. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.
Coleman, I'm a little bit disappointed in Tim that he's
I am.
getting
I
so
thought
upset
you
by
were
this notion.
comfortable with the way you live.
Yeah, so was I.
I am comfortable with the way I live.
Right, okay. I think we all learned a little something about Tim here, didn't we?
No!